All right, so apparently I deleted some, well, majority of the work that I did yesterday, because today is the day the shipping container is showing up, but I expanded the width by 3 feet, and we still got some low spots and high spots, but you know, we'll figure that out when the container shows up. But I got to go meet the guy at the front door, so we'll be back in a little bit. Oh, and wonderful, I forgot to bring my tripod, so there'll be a lot of moving around on this one. All right, we got it showing up. All right, we're going to get some work done in all this, but this is what we got so far. So we'll show you as he's pulling it. All right, the company doesn't want to be videotaped, but this driver, super professional, very polite young man. And there we have it. He's got a nice rig too. Plenty of room. All right, I'm going to go in and inspect it. All right, full bucket. All right, so what I'm doing, I mean, obviously you can see, I'm building a ramp into the container so I can pull the excavator in there. So I'm just going to keep building this up and tapering it back. All right, so I could raise this up a little bit better, but it worked fine for what we're doing here. So here's a test fit. We got plenty of overhead room in the high cube for the Cat 304. Right, it's like 8.2 feet. And I think the inside of this is 8.6. So we got 0.4 overhead, and then length, that's, well, let's go. All right, we got, you know, we got a little bit of room. We got the front loader and the brush cutter. You know, we still got 2 more implements that we could probably fit in. So, you know, a little bit of planning and a little bit of equipment layout. We should be able to fit everything that we have inside of the container, so we don't have to worry about winter storage. All right, that's what this is all about, winter storage. So now I got to get vents, because apparently, you know, these little vents on the side aren't really vents, but they're like equalization valves, you know, pressure valves. So we're going to have to install some real vents. There's other maintenance that I got to do to the box, like the actual latching mechanisms. They need to be lubed up and stuff like that. But yep, I'm going to continue to get more gravel leveled out, and I'll bring you back once we get everything all situated. All right, so we got our gravel ramp leading into the Sealand. So now really what we got to do is do a level check, 4 corners. Like I said, I'm not worried about if we got a pitch or even if we're kind of on an angle, right? Because we want a little bit of runoff. So that's what we got. We'll come back and go through and level everything. Right, but we got a nice, I mean, this back end has to come over, right? It's kind of sticking out a little bit, so we'll see if we can't lift it up and drag it. But we got a nice little walkway. I don't see it really being flooded out like if it rains a lot, you know. Anyway, pretty rusty. What a wonderful day it turned out to be. So everything worked out. All right, put a comma in this conversation. All right, the next day, so we got our level. We got some grinding discs, we got some wire brushes, we got an extension cord, several cans of primer, some penetrating oil, a mask, a ladder. I got to go get the generator so we can power all this stuff, but let's take a look at what we're dealing with on top of the container. The Tempted seal right there. Some crusty rust. And some more crusty rust. There is a pinhole up here somewhere. I don't know. I mean, we could go inside and take a look at it, but you know, I'm going to be working on the top here, taking care of a lot of the rust that looks like barnacles. You know, hit it up with some primer. Take care of a little bit of the superficial stuff. Now the backside's pretty crusty. This side doesn't look that bad. All right, I'm going to get some penetrating oil on a lot of the points and whatnot. So I'll be back. I'm going to go get the generator and then we'll start getting into some stuff. All right, you can see a little bit of light coming in from the floor. All right, but you see that little pinhole. And it's between the first and second rib. we got everything up here. Let's see if we got power. All right, let's get to it. All right, let's see what we got. Can you see that? Hey. All right, we have to come up. We got a 3/8 plate right here. Let's see. Yeah, about 3/8, almost about a 1/2 inch. We got to come up on this side. So let's get the jack set up and. All right, that's pretty close. Let's see how these doors shut. Not making excuses, but this one is bent. This closing mechanism. All right, not bad. What I'm going to do here is hit up, where are we looking? I'm going to hit up the seal edge right around the door. All right, and that's pretty level. We got a little bit of a downward slope, almost level though. Let's see what the back of the container looks like. Because yesterday I think that corner was up off the ground. All right, that one's touching, and that one's off a little bit, right? So we can slide a paver underneath that. Overall, not bad. Right, this is bent that way. You can kind of see how it's off a little bit. But I got the closing mechanisms lubed up. So really what I want to do is knock off a lot of this big scale where the seal hits against, and especially up in there. Anyway, I'm going to keep on making little minor modifications or repairs. All right, so I ran into town, I picked myself up a paver and a broom. I tried to grind as much as I could out of the container. All right, so this is all they have. They have a 24-inch paver, but as I was walking to the truck, I found this. So I'm going to use this to do some masonry work, you know, scribe a line in it and see if we can't split this thing into 4. And it just so happens that You can't really, can you see that? It's thinner down here and it's thicker up here. Yeah. Anyway, GoPro stop. All right, so I started a fracture. So let's see how this goes. There we go. And I just got to do that one more time. All right, here we go. So completely changing the subject, I'm going to switch the rims around, give them a little bit wider profile. So I'm going to get this tire off and then I'll show you what's going on. All right, I don't really feel like doing CrossFit today. These things are filled with a ballast. All right, so this thing can go just like that. GoPro, stop recording. All right, so this offset, we had the center line of the tire that was lined up with the fender. So now we're sticking out, you know, a little bit on both sides, gives us a wider footprint. All right, so we got Sealand leveled. We got a braced a footing underneath of it. So now all four corners are on the ground. The door's shut. We got a majority of the rust taken care of on the roof. Big scaly stuff. And you know, we gotta do some stuff on the side maybe too. You know, maybe get rid of some of the dents and bulges and whatnot. But that's going to wrap it up for this series for receiving the shipping container. So thanks for watching. We'll see you at the next one.